What's going on, guys? Welcome back to No Impulse Control. My name is Justin.
I'm Jasmine.
Oh man, that was a good one, huh?
I killed a man with this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
do you
anyways,
know what that's from?
I assume like Princess Diaries or something like
Oh
that.
my, it's from Ratatouille.
Oh,
Have you never seen Ratatouille?
I've seen Ratatouille. I just never really liked it. Like it was. Look, you don't like Mary Poppins. I don't like Ratatouille. You shut your lips. That's very rude.
Okay, how are you guys doing?
Oh man, Jasmine, how are you doing this week? Actually, this week technically is break week for us.
Well, week of recording it's not. Don't get my hopes
Yeah,
up.
well, I'm trying to like play as if we were 2 weeks
No,
ahead,
I have
but
2 weeks until
we
break.
have that 1.5, and one of those days didn't you say was a movie day?
No, we
Aren't you
did it
watching the?
Tuesday.
Oh, I thought you were doing it the week before break.
No, but we have bowling next Friday
Oh, that's actually really cool.
and an
So you're
Easter
going.
egg hunt.
Ooh, so
I have
bowling right
littles.
before break.
Yeah, yeah, we can go right across the street and go bowling. So that's what we're gonna do.
Oh, do they have a bowling alley on the?
They have candle pin bowling, which is unfortunate, but
Yeah, I mean it's something.
it's fun for the kids. They really like it. It's
You know
very.
what's
It seems
really
like a really fun
interesting?
thing. No, it's fine.
Sorry.
I'll just shut my mouth.
Yeah, it's my turn.
Sorry.
Um,
You, as the man, have the right of way.
oh,
Yes,
don't
but
even.
it's not Women's History Month anymore, guys. I have to keep my cool.
So I have a student who isn't. She's technically not doing this project for me. I want that to be very clear. So I don't know the ins and outs of the projects. And I'm not downing your school now, but I am downing your school back in the day.
So
But I
I
have a
do want to. I do want to stipulate this. That was not my school.
same building. Sorry, yes,
Same building. We moved into the building, unfortunately, with this history.
yeah,
But it was the Pineland School.
yeah,
My school came about in 2000, so
yeah.
just wanna put that out there.
So I have a student who is doing a project on one of the islands in Maine, and I can't remember the name of the island, but basically the island was an island that a family lived at that was not a white
Mhm.
family, and that family was booted off the island, and the da da da. There was a whole lot of things that happened, but basically there was a lot of people that were sent to the building that your school is in, which is known as Pineland Schools or
You
something
got
like
this.
that.
Yeah, the Pineland
Um,
School. Yeah.
and that school, for anybody who doesn't know, was a school. I don't remember the exact terminology that she kept using because I had a.
Mhm.
She was the student was sitting in my room on the phone with with a granddaughter of somebody who ended up getting put in that in that school without actually
School
needing
for
to
the
go.
feeble-minded.
School for the feeble-minded, yes.
Mhm.
And it was just very interesting to listen to. I like history. Like I'm not gonna say I'm a history buff because I can't remember jack crap, but like I like history. I like learning things. I like documentaries, like all of those things. But there was a lot of really interesting information that would that absolutely was frustrating to listen to. Like there was a situation where um like one of the people that her grandmother, grandfather, whoever was in the
Mhm.
school talked about was one of their friends was being discharged and was being allowed back
Mhm.
into the world.
Society.
Yeah. But before she could go, she had to have a surgery, and they kept calling it a what's the one where they take out your pancreas?
Gallbladder
Nope.
surgery, right?
No. Gallbladder and pancreas, I'm pretty sure, are two different.
Well, they are,
Pancreas
but
something.
pancreas.
Pank. Pank.
Hey,
Pankalodian.
stop! I'm trying to spell surgery. Pancreectomy.
Pancreectomy, yeah.
A
And
Whipple
so,
procedure.
yes, there you go. I should have known that. Miranda Bailey.
Yeah, get your
Um,
shit together.
okay, chill. I'm sorry. Anyways, they kept this person was being allowed back into society,
Mhm.
but they had to have a Whipple before they were allowed to leave. But when they left, there was no scar
Mhm.
where a Whipple would be. There was another scar somewhere else. And what the assumption was they were getting hysterectomies and
Yeah.
like to limit the spread. Um,
Yeah. So sorry.
Go ahead.
We're going. So one of the sorry, I'm just trying to get the page to load. But one of the big things. So this was a very common thing in rehabilitation centers all across the U.S. Which, by the way, our dear DHHS leader is wanting to bring back. So just thought I'd mention
Oh, I
that.
hate that.
Yeah. So for people, special institutes for people who take ADHD meds.
Yeah.
Guess
You
who
have to
takes
be like
ADHD
me.
meds? Yeah. So
You know,
it was.
grow a penis, be a white man, you know, just be like me. You
I'm not allowed to. They'll yell at me for doing that. So anyway, it's to ameliorate and better the condition of this unfortunate class, which essentially just means disabled people.
Yeah. It was really interesting to listen to. And then
Yeah.
finally, there was some sort of connection that the lady said. And I was like, wait a second. I know that place. And so I looked it up and I got a
Yes.
picture of your building.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
It's
it's your
yeah.
school.
You sent that to me and I was like, well, hold on now. Let me
Yeah.
defend. But no, like, so there are so many rehabilitation centers that are like, what a dark way to start this episode, by the way.
Yeah. I don't
Um,
know why that was what came to my mind, but ADHD.
you know, but no, there are so
It's
many
not even
that
on my list of things to talk about.
there are so many though that give like or that used to give, they don't anymore, I hope not, but there are so many like rehabilitation places and essentially like residential facilities, right? So people with hysteria or women who thought about things or people who couldn't have babies for whatever reason, like there was a lot of things that would be like,
If you weren't the normal.
yeah, you were the normal black people,
Yeah.
you know abnormally tall people, but also
Different
like
colored hair.
yeah, but like also actual disabilities too,
Yeah.
right? Like so, you know, autism's obviously a big one, but physical disabilities, stuff like that, things that people didn't want to have to acknowledge or look at in society.
Yeah.
Were herded into these residential facilities where they then lived, ate, slept at, whatever, and family could like visit, but oftentimes people would be ill or they wouldn't be able to see them, or oh well, they're in therapy right now, and it turned out that they weren't in
Yeah.
any of those things. They were actually like being maltreated, and in a lot of those facilities they were being like sedated pretty regularly with tranquilizers and stuff like that. Lobotomies were given in a lot of these places.
Yeah.
This is where, so a little history knowledge here for you, but y'all know Nazi Germany, right? So I don't even know how to segue that one, but
That
y'all
was
know Nazi
something.
Germany. So y'all know how we get a lot of our medical practices from the Nazis and the Nazi scientists who were like, let's experiment on human life because we're already keeping these people locked away. Why not also do tests on them, right?
Right.
So there were a lot of other types of tests being done. Essentially, I'm like trying to put it in the way that we won't get banned as possible. Tests of the human wit, right? So like how much can a person withstand before they just break?
Yeah.
If you are a not disabled person, mentally disabled, right? So like you have mental disabilities, but if you are a fully cognizant, fully developed, fully functional adult human being, there's like a limit of what you can stand. But if you have anything that like knocks your cognitive ability or anything, you're going to be able to withstand less and less.
Right.
And there was so much like sexual abuse happening at these places from the doctors, but also patients who were just in there together with no
Yeah.
regulations, no guidance. There weren't BHPs walking around. There weren't ed techs helping out with academics. Nobody was reading or writing because
Mm-mm.
why would you teach people with disabilities to read or write? Then they might participate in things.
Right.
I'm saying this so sarcastically. I truly hate these places.
I mean,
So
it
like,
really fits. Sorry, it really fits for like your location too.
yeah,
Unfortunately, like you said, they were
yeah,
like turning a blind eye. Your location is very secluded, and I say yours in
it
terms of like
is
the
the
building.
campus.
Like the campus is
It's
just super secluded. I for a
yeah.
long time, like when I came and visited you, I don't remember a couple months ago.
I
I
never
was like,
lived
"Am I in
nowhere
the
on it.
middle of nowhere? Like I have
Yeah,
no
we're
clue where
on
I'm
like a
going."
weird back road. If
And
you
it
didn't
literally just
know,
out of nowhere shows up.
Mhm. And if you didn't know about the market or like the, the whatever, the
The
food
disc
places that
golf,
were
yeah.
there, right? If you didn't know about that, so like we had been a few times disc golfing there and been to the market, whatever. I
Hmm.
had no freaking clue that that school even existed
No, me
because
neither.
it's in, the back, whatever. And thank God for my school. They have really turned what could have been like, they could have just continued doing these horrible things, but have turned it into such like a impactful, helpful place. And it's why we're rated one of the best in Maine right now, is
Right.
because Lori, so the person who runs our school, Lori, love Lori, shout out Lori, she's not watching this, but
I was gonna say, if you watch
she,
Lori, hi.
hey, um, but no, she has done like the work, and all of the admin there have done the work to like really instill this sense of
Mhm.
helpfulness to the kids, and like actual rehabilitation and stuff like that, rather than just one of those kids. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
I I know that I talk shit about like, oh my god, like, oof, my job is really hard, blah blah. I don't talk shit about my job. I actually really like it, but it is truly one of the best places I've ever worked.
Hmm.
And I didn't even know that it was a possibility when I went to school for it, and I got like the stuff that I went for, but like this is the school I wanted to be at if I could have like designed it in my head, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's I love that we're changing the narrative.
yeah. I mean, that's what you got to do, especially when there's a lot of people driving home an old narrative that they don't believe otherwise.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, yeah, I just thought it was really cool that there was a
I
connection that like my students
I
were
love
finding
that.
out about
Well,
like yours.
I love that your kids were researching. I mean, not for you, but do you know what class that was for?
It was for a GT project, but it's
What's
for
GT?
GT is gifted and talented.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's for a like it's called NHD, National Histories Day,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
and they like this student did a project about this place, and she got through regionals and is now going to states, or she's in the next level and she has a chance to go to nationals with it.
That's
And so it
awesome.
was really cool for her to have a chance to talk to somebody whose
That's really
whose
cool.
ancestors were part of that. Yeah, not good that they were part of it, obviously, but like just that they were able to talk to them.
And how do you spin this positively, not good that they were part of it, but also that they were able to come out of it and
A story be told. Yeah,
have a story, have their story being told, but they were able to survive and like have kids and stuff like that,
yeah,
even living through like that was a horrible place.
yeah.
All of those facilities were horrible places, and not to say that there aren't still really really crappy ones in this state and all over the US, and they're popping up more frequently, that are not as bad, but they're not good,
Yeah.
like they still abuse and they still,
Right.
whatever.
I was going to say the other point that I wanted to make before we kind of jump off of this topic is the idea that like just because we're talking highly about this doesn't mean that it's not still a thing, and like we're talking about these things that happened back in the day. Back in the day was like
1908.
the I was going to say was not that long ago.
1908. So the most recent one that shut down was 19, I'm going to get this wrong, but I believe it was 86 was the most recent one. That's
86.
that's
Our
less than
parents
40
were
years
alive.
ago. Yeah. Yeah.
That's scary. I mean, we have coworkers that were alive during that point, and
Yeah.
some of them that were teaching during that point.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's insane. Oof.
But yeah.
So yeah.
So hard transition.
So Nazi Germany.
So Nazi Germany. Let's
Okay,
take a
okay.
turn.
Can we talk? Sorry, I gotta stop you there. I got this new shirt. It's very comfortable. Kind of thought about it recently, like while I was talking. I was like, "That's the Where's Waldo shirt."
I was thinking candy cane.
I love that so much more. Thank you for positive spinning this, because all day I've been like, "This is a cute shirt. Where do I recognize that from?" And it wasn't until I was talking about, ironically enough, Nazi Germany, that I was like, "Is that the Where's Waldo shirt?"
I don't think that's Waldo though. Isn't Waldo like a? I thought his stripes were thicker. Like it is. It is. I'm pretty sure it's red stripes.
It is red
We're
stripes.
falling into the Mandela effect.
Where's Waldo?
But
Who's Wally?
Wally. Oh yeah, it's the new Waldo.
Who the fuck is
Wally's
this
like
man?
Wally's like Waldo's kid or something like that.
He wasn't. How did anyone make a child with him? They can't find him.
They can't find him.
Anyway,
That was funny.
all right. So what's your hard transition?
Hard transition. Not really out of school, I guess, but it's not really that hard of a transition, honestly. So today, this beautiful day that we are in, with snow still on the ground, um, I ended up
Okay.
having to take a sick day, and I left early from school yesterday.
I didn't
I
realize you were
don't
off
do
sick
that well.
today.
Yeah, I don't do that well. I don't like taking days. And I just want to talk about the idea of taking days because I know in my brain and the health brain, in the person that I am, that I want to be, I know taking days are good. I know that it's responsible, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's
Safe.
acceptable, like it's safe. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I'm like, like I have to take a day. So I just kind of want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about the idea of it
Mm-hmm.
because I know you and I both struggle with taking days. And when I say struggle, it's like
Taking
pulling
days.
teeth. Yeah, it's like pulling teeth for both of us to take a
I
day.
prefer pulling teeth. Actually, I'll be honest with you, because then I
I
have a
haven't had a
reason to
pulled
be
tooth.
out.
Did you hear that?
You haven't had a pulled tooth?
I haven't had a pulled tooth.
I've had all three wisdom teeth and then two molars.
I didn't count that because technically I've had 3 wisdom and a molar.
So yeah, so you've had a tooth pulled.
But I don't count that because wisdom teeth doing a full surgery for your wisdom teeth, that's normal. That's what you got to do. I know they're pulling the teeth. I get that. But
Didn't you just say you had a molar pulled?
yeah, but that was only it was replacing the other molar so the molar could drop in on this side.
What?
They left a molar in because it
Yeah.
wasn't impacted. So they
Yeah.
pulled, and the tooth that was in front of it was badly decaying. So they
Yeah.
said, "We'll take that tooth and let that molar drop in, or see if it'll drop in." Which it is kind of
Do you have a gap
a small one.
between two?
It's not a
I mean, I guess
gap,
I
like it's
guess I'm
not a
not
huge
looking in the
gap,
back
but
of your mouth that often.
yeah, it's not a huge gap.
Or
Like there's
ever.
a
Let me
tooth
rephrase that.
growing in. I was gonna
Ever
say,
have
when was
I,
the last time you looked in the back of my mouth? Like
when you had your wisdom teeth taken out because you called me over while you were half asleep and you said, "Look," and I was like, "Oh my god, he's choking on something." Oh no, he's just a dumbass and he needs to just roll over.
I don't remember that, so I can't confirm or
So
deny.
I was asked as a friend to come to the house when he had his wisdom teeth taken out. Speaking of which, looking up a random photo,
No,
no
no,
biggie.
don't. I have yours. Don't even try. Don't
Mine is
even
so
try.
funny. Mine is
Yours
so
is.
funny.
Don't try me. I will. We will spend
You can
10
show
minutes
mine.
sitting here.
You can show mine. It's
I don't
fine.
want mine shown.
Ow! My ears!
I'm gonna find a more embarrassing photo of you then.
Every photo of me is embarrassing, Justin. So
Oh.
anyway,
So
um,
there I was.
no, so he invited me over to essentially take care of him until Darcy could get to work, and I was like, sure. I think I was at Buckfield at the time.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I was student teaching. Yeah, so I came over and I got there, and he's got like the swollen squirrel cheeks, but he's got his whole face wrapped in this like thick wrap.
It was like a
It's like
sock.
the
They gave me a
gauze,
tube
yeah,
and they put the thing in, or the 2 frozen
to
like
hold
ice
his,
packs.
yeah, and to hold your jaw so you weren't just like opening it all the way too.
Mm.
And he's got like his lips are all cracked and a little bloody because like they dry out right when you're getting your wisdom teeth out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching him come in and out of consciousness saying the weirdest stuff as he's like coming back to life and going back to sleep and coming back to life and going back to sleep. I was looking after the cats. Every time that he would like come to life, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta like actually take care of a person. Um, it was funny. The cats and I had a
Hilarious.
great time until we brought home French fries for you for dinner, and you wanted them so badly, and you couldn't
It was
put them
very
down.
depressing. It was I remember that. I remember. So the point that I start remembering is I remember waking up a couple
Yeah.
times when Grandpa came down to do the fire. I remember a
Mm-hmm.
couple times when you were there, but Darcy wasn't, and I was like, I'm not waking up yet, and rolled over and went back to sleep. And then I remember, like, I actually start remembering things when you and Darcy were watching a movie. I don't
Yeah.
remember what movie it was, but I remember like opening my eyes, seeing you were watching a movie. I don't. It was something maybe Devil Wears Prada or something like that.
Something like that. It was one of those like it was the Devil Wears Prada.
but I was I'm not interested in it, but I am hungry because I haven't eaten since
You
yesterday
ate
at
Five
dinner
Guys, I
time.
believe, right?
Nope, it was
No?
Applebee's because Five Guys
That's
wasn't in yet,
right.
and I picked Applebee's like a dummy, thinking, "Oh, I'll be fine. I'll be able to eat it." I couldn't get the French fry into my mouth. It
Hey
wouldn't
guys,
fit.
so let me tell you a little something about wisdom teeth surgery. They
You
take your
can't
teeth.
open your
The
mouth.
gov You can't open your teeth. That's a bad sign if you can. The government steals your teeth, right?
They put them
And
in
then
little bottles. I actually don't know what happens to wisdom teeth. You know, that's a good. What does happen to the
do you
wisdom teeth?
they throw them in biomedical trash, Justin.
Do they?
Do you know how they take out your teeth?
Yeah, they gotta get in there. But like, what happens
Do you
after?
not know how they take out the wisdom teeth?
I've watched a video on it, wanted to throw up, and then didn't finish it. So
So they
I
go
went in.
in.
I'm Jasmine. I'm like a person who
Yeah.
doesn't want to know what the medical procedure is ahead of time because if I
Yeah,
do, I'm
okay.
not doing
So
the
they
medical
cut
procedure.
into your gums, right? They
Th-
smash your tooth apart.
that this is what I'm saying. Don't tell me.
But you already have them
I
out.
don't care.
What are they
I'm
gonna do?
good. I'm
Replace them and
good.
take them back?
They
Okay,
might.
they smash your teeth out, and
Yeah.
that's why you can't open your jaw is because you're having like full surgery,
Yeah.
and then your jaw swells, so you can't open it. I was. I gotta show you my
Mind
picture because
you,
my picture was funny as hell.
I did eventually eat that French fry.
You did. It was the most painful thing to watch, but yeah,
It
you
was
did
like a
it.
bunny, and I had to rip tiny pieces and put it right in the front of my teeth and then
Yeah,
chew.
you did.
And then I
Yeah, you
swallowed. I
did.
had like
Yep,
three
yep.
French fries, and then I think then we watched Brother Bear or something like that.
All right, so you guys ready? So this is right beforehand. Yes, we did. We watched Brother Bear because that's what you requested. So this is right beforehand. I'm smiling. I'm fine. This is as I woke up, and I was like, huh? All right, and then this is the bruise from where they put the IV in. Rephrase that. Where they missed 3 times,
I
and then
want this
this
to be
is the
very
day
clear.
after.
I want this to be very clear. She told me I wasn't allowed to come over, and I invited her over for mine. So
Um. So yes. So the reason that you weren't allowed to come over, I can now
talk
share
about
this.
friends.
The reason was I was so well. I also didn't want you to take any videos of me coming off anesthesia because I didn't know what I was going to be
Which would have
like.
been freaking funny.
I just cried. Like we recorded 3 days afterwards, and my mouth was so
Yeah, we
swollen
did,
it
didn't we?
hurt to. Because by the end, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, that was a bad choice. I went to school that Monday. I was hurting because I had to
Which
like teach.
really lines up with the taking the day
My
off.
God! Oh my God! That's
that
where we
was
started
that
with this.
was
So I'm much better now this year. My 3rd year teaching, I have finally allowed myself to be okay with it. But I still, like, I woke up sick recently, like fever, cold sweats, whatever. And I was like, I could probably go in.
hmm
I think if I just have an ice pack. But by 6 o'clock, I was like, if one of my staff came to school like I am right now, what would I say to them? I would tell them to go home. They're sick. I don't want to get sick. So if I go in, I'm a big hypocrite and I will not let myself be a hypocrite. So I stayed home. And all day long I was checking my email. Like I'd
hmm
wake up from a dead nap and be like checking and whatever. And as soon as 2 o'clock happened, I texted everybody and I was like, hey, how did the day go? And everyone said, go to bed. Because
I want to know
like
if you're a teacher or worked in like an educational field or even I think nurses
any
kind
job
of.
actually,
I was
I
gonna
would
say
love to know.
more so just in my brain. I'm thinking like what was your thing like when you were sick? Like Jasmine said, she checks your email. I check my email all the time, so
Yeah.
like that's not uncommon for
I have
me
it on
in
my
general. But
watch.
like
So I
I
can
don't
just
have that far, um but I do like I check my email. I'm pretty active. I graded things today. Like I shouldn't have done anything. I took a
you
sick day.
should
I
be
should have
sick.
been sick. Yeah. But I decided because I was like, well, I can't not do something. I've got the time. So I sat down and graded things. Like
Mm-hmm.
what was your thing as a person who took a day off? Because that's not.
Do you
I don't get it. I can't in my brain. I can't not be or
do you
feel
know what I'm
guilty about it.
Do you know what I'm hearing from both of us though too? Is that self-fulfilling prophecy of see, I wasn't even that sick. I graded papers today. I could have gone in. And
Literally.
then justifying it to ourselves of like why we shouldn't have
Which
taken the
is
day.
where
And
that guilt eventually comes in.
right, because all of our students, we tell them like, if you're sick, stay home,
Yep.
but we don't allow. And you know what it is too, though, is that with other jobs, like with Connor's job, if he calls out sick, he just calls out and he lays in bed all day. He doesn't have to lesson plan. He doesn't have to prep a sub. He doesn't have to prep kids.
And I want it
If
to be
I'm,
very clear for this because it does kind of sound like
yeah,
this. And I don't think that's where you're going. It's not that you guys don't have responsibilities. It's that
no, no, no. It's just,
there's other people relying on teachers and nurses and like
it's
jobs that
that
are in that
if
situation.
you guys call out sick and you're not in a profession where you have to whatever, but even nurses too, like it's different. People will pick up the slack. They
Mhm.
don't like it, and oftentimes it does cause problems and management, whatever. But with like an office job, right? You don't go in for the day. You just do it the next day, like it will wait for you.
Right. Unless there's a
Whereas with,
due date and da 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 da. But
right, but even then, like, something will happen. Like, you know
right.
what I mean? Like you'll figure it out. Um, but
But
with teaching, it's like no one steps in to help figure that out. They're like, well, what are you going to do about your students? I don't know, motherfucker. Find someone. Like, I have the plague. I'm not coming in.
right.
And it took until this year for me to actually just be like, what I used to do was I would text and I would say, hey, I'm out sick. I have a fever and I'm throwing, I like all the symptoms. They'd be like, awesome, stay home. Now I just go, hey, I'm out sick today. Here are my lesson plans.
Yeah.
I have pre-made ones that are super simple and I just send them.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't. I know. I know. I know. It's the beast. It's the What's the word? What's the saying about a beast? It's the reality of the beast or something like that.
oh,
I don't know. But anyways, it's the reality of our situation of like we have to come up with a lesson plan
right.
when we are out. We have to do extra work to be able to take a day off. And to me, that's insane. That's crazy. But at the
Yeah,
same time, I do it because I have to do it. Like, that's part of the
right.
job. And like today, my lessons plan was easy because like it would have been an easy day for me in school because one class is working on a project. One class I didn't have because they're middle schoolers and they have another thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And one class, it was, I had an activity that we were going to do, but I didn't want to throw that on the sub. So I was like, just do a study hall day because it's a bunch of upperclassmen who probably won't need to use it as the right time. But like,
Right.
whatever, do a study all day. They're good kids. Just
Do
chill.
something, yeah.
Yeah. And so like, there's that, but then there's also the element of like sometimes you get sick. Like if I were to have gotten sick 2 days later, I have a guest speaker coming in on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I have eighth graders that I have to deal with because they're supposed to have a lesson plan
Yep.
for Friday that we have to do because break is coming up.
Yep.
And I have another class where I'm like trying to make sure that these kids are getting what they need to do
Mm-hmm.
done. Like they're
I almost have to
it was
think of
now
it
or
like,
never.
right. I almost have to think of it that way of like, okay, what do I have this week? Like, can I afford to be sick today?
Right.
I've never had a job. I mean, obviously, I've been teaching. This is my fourth year teaching now. This is your fifth year teaching. That, by the way, disgusting. It has flown by, but like my fourth year teaching, and I'm still struggling with like what day this week does it make sense to call out? If I feel myself getting sick on a Sunday, I can take Monday off and it can be okay.
Mm-mm.
But because well, for me, Mondays are not my big day. I
Yeah.
purposefully did that because of kids coming off weekends and a hard whatever.
Right.
But I also have Brittany teaches art on Monday. I teach science Tuesday, so I can't be sick on Tuesdays. And well, Wednesday I have teacher meeting and often staff meeting, and I really don't want to miss the like. Why am I prepping my sickness?
Right. We
If
don't
I'm sick
control when
and
we're sick. We can't control when we're sick. Like
I,
we work with kids. We work in a petri
I
dish of germs.
although knock on wood. So my whole class has had the plague. I am yet to have gotten it. Knock on wood.
Hmm.
I don't know why, because those fuckers, those children,
Those lovely,
um,
lovely kids.
angel babies, all of them who were sick came and wanted like snuggles, which feels really good for me because I'm like, oh, they want comfort from me, and then they coughed in my open mouth.
Yeah. See, our school, we've hit at least 15% of our population is out because of sickness. So we have to report it to the state of Maine. That's a
Yeah,
requirement by law. And
yeah,
so they reported that in and I'm getting sick and I'm like, "Oh crap, am I going to get the same thing that all the kids are walking around with?" No. I just get some sort of head cold thing that knocks me out for a day for some reason. And I'm like, wait,
Connor's
what's
got that
this?
right now where it's like all right here,
Yeah, it's
but it
all like
sounds like it's like right,
deep
like it's
in.
stuck in the sinuses. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I got
blocked.
Tylenol. I'll send you the stuff. It drained him. Like, I'm not joking, because I recommended you a neti pot. He will not do a neti pot. I would have to like physically restrain him to get him to use it, and even then, he would somehow manage to make his nose not accept water.
Just blow out. Just pretty
He would just his brain would just like close it automatically. No,
clench.
thank you. Um, clench the nose. How do you do that?
I don't know.
Oh, that hurt. I
That
sucked
didn't
in too
sound good.
hard. Oh, my brain hurts.
See,
Okay,
my
keep going.
nostrils can't do that. But yeah, just the idea of it.
Oh.
I don't know. Again, in the comments, put your opinion. We want to hear it because then we'll respond and tell you that we either agree or
Mm-hmm.
disagree, depending on what your comments are. Anyways, baseball. It's baseball season. Ah, that sounded
How are
like
the Red
Scooby
Sox
Doo a
doing?
little bit. They aren't doing too bad. They're
Oh, they're 6
immediate.
and 6 right now.
Yeah, they're right in the
Okay.
middle of everything right now.
Well, they're playing the
Um,
Blue Jays right now.
correct.
Okay.
I don't know that we're gonna be crazy better, but it is looking good for the future. Like we have a good chance
We
to
have a good
become
team this
something.
year.
Good and okay team this year. Um,
Ah, yes, the players and such.
yes, so a lot of the players from last year's team, which we went and watched, are
Uh-huh.
still there. Which is
Yeah.
good because you
Yep.
can then build up the chemistry and all that stuff. But I really, I with the Red Sox, I really just like they need to sign somebody who's bigger than Bregman. And Bregman, I
Mm-hmm.
know you don't know who Bregman is, but he's the new addition. He's a good player and could do a lot for the team, but he's not
This
going to
man
be
looks like
like
a medical commercial spokesperson.
yeah, he's not going to be a big hitter type of person. I think what they need to do is they need to trade
How
Rafael
old is
Devers. Bregman, he's like in his
he's 31?
30,
Okay,
31, yeah.
that is a rough 31.
Well, he's 31 and I think they just signed him to like a I want to say somewhere between 4 and 7 year contract. So,
One moment, please.
but yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty
I was just saying,
excited.
like,
Like
I was like, isn't 30s kind of old for like a baseball player? But no,
for an
it's like mid
athlete,
20s to early 30s.
yeah, for
Yeah.
an athlete, 30s you're kind of on your downhill of your career.
Right.
Um,
26 to 30 is your general.
your
Your
prime, yeah,
yeah. So they hired someone out of his prime who
which
looks like
not
he
surprising.
he does hemorrhoid commercials.
I say that in the same breath of we do a trip every year to a Red Sox game,
We
and
have
I
been doing one. We're
really, really
itching
want
for
to
one.
go. And more so now because I've been like it's baseball season, so teams at the school are starting to do baseball things. I'm watching some baseball games. I'm
Mm-hmm.
keeping up with the Red Sox. I'm watching a documentary that was just put on Netflix about the Red Sox last year, which is actually really good, very fun to watch. Highly suggest. It's called The
Mm-hmm.
Clubhouse with the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then also the idea of going to Boston and it only being a 4 hour drive
Round
really
trip
is it a 4 hour drive round trip?
to Boston. It's 2 hours from my house.
So it's about 6 hours round trip for me then.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's about 3 hours from mine then.
Yeah, but you could just stay at my house, and then we forget that that hour exists to go to your house.
Well, fair. Anyways, it's just like it's so tempting to just want to drive down there. And I love going to Fenway. Fenway has an atmosphere that just
I love
I
Fenway.
can't match anywhere else. Or at least I haven't been able to find a place to match it. And part of that I think is just the sentimental value idea to it that I have
Mm-hmm.
because of both my grandfathers liking baseball and like the Red Sox and
Mm-hmm.
wanting to go to the games. So I think there's that, but I don't know.
You
There's
want to go
also
see
the
the
fun
Tampa Bay
of
Rays at the Fenway Park?
I mean I will watch any baseball, but there's also the idea of like that's where we went on my honeymoon. That was one of the places that
Oh yeah.
Darcy and I went to watch the Red Sox play. That's where we first went and hung out for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of like I'm
You took
realizing this
Micah.
now
You were there
actually.
for Micah's first baseball game
Micah's
ever.
first game. Yeah. I'm realizing this now. There's a lot of like emotional connection to Fenway now that I'm
We
like
took your
thinking through
grandfather's
it.
hat to Fenway.
Yep, that was the last place it'll ever be worn. It's actually sitting. I don't know if you can see it. It's sitting up there right
No.
now. It's on my lamp
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not wearing it anymore. But it's gonna stay there because I asked Dad what I should do with it, and he said burn it as like a thing to kind of get rid of it. And I was like,
He's like, get rid of it, burn it.
I was like, I can't burn it. I have emotionally attached myself to it, so
Mm-hmm.
that's where it'll stay for now.
Yep.
But yeah, so anyways, baseball, fun stuff.
Baseball. Yep. Um, I had something March Madness related because it just ended 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday.
It was
Monday was the
on,
last game,
yeah,
right?
no, it was Sunday evening. Pretty sure.
Well, I thought Monday was the last game.
I'm pretty sure it was Sunday evening because it's championship Sunday. The girls played and then the boys played after. Anyways, what's your thing?
Well, now I'm looking it up because it matters. It was Monday. I knew it was Monday.
Whatever.
Because I was looking at the score as we were driving to the movies. So I was in 4 brackets this year, which is so odd. I'd never
It's
done
funny.
them ever. I had Duke for a few of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I was talking to Connor about this, and I said something about like, oh man, like I'm out, I was only out like $3 because I didn't bet very much, but I was out like $3 to somebody because I had bet that Duke was going to win, and they bet Florida. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I refuse to vote for Florida just because Florida.
Florida.
Yeah. And I said something about Duke winning. He was like, oh, Duke winning? This is a total call out on my husband. He goes, Jasmine, I don't even watch basketball. And I know that you don't vote for Duke over, what was it, UNC? And he was like, UNC creams Duke every time. And I was like, didn't Duke beat UNC this year? And he was like, no. So I looked at it. They didn't cream them by any means, but they beat UNC. And I've never felt
UNC. Go ahead.
more powerful in that moment than saying, hey, so I knew this because I was actually following it this year. Duke beat UNC and then got to move forward in their bracket, just so you're aware. And he was like, UNC always wins. And I was like, do they though? Because they didn't this time. Also,
No.
don't know that they're that good of a school.
UNC is a good, yeah, that's where Michael Jordan went when he went to college. But UNC this year was the last team to get into the NCAA bracket. So, no, they weren't that good. They were a play-in team, so they had to play a game before playing their first round game, which then they went and lost. So, also UNC is the rival to Duke, so
yeah,
boo them. I was going to use a different word.
Oh,
North Carolina.
Target. Okay, yeah. That would be why Connor.
NC State, yeah.
Very
I'm surprised.
schools, for the record.
I'm surprised that he was UNC approving, being that NC State is right there.
Because it's in North Carolina, and it was North Carolina over everybody, and then NC State
and
over
gotcha.
UNC. Mm-hmm. The hierarchy.
And yet, neither of them did well this year. So
well, there's something to be said for that. So.
But yeah, I watched Duke lose. That was super disappointing. They lost it. It was the last like 30 seconds. They were up 6 points and ended up losing by 3 or something like that. Yeah. Or by 2.
It wasn't because very much.
No, it was a last second foul shot basically that won the game.
It was like that state game.
And Cooper,
remember
it was
that state game we went to see.
That feels like so long ago.
That was like 4 weekends ago.
Oh my goodness. That feels so long ago.
Was it before or after February vacation? It was after.
It was after. It's the weekend after February break.
That's so short of a time ago.
Yep, but it feels like it's been like a month and a half to 2 months.
Well, it has been a month and a half, but yeah.
Okay, sorry, I lie. It's been longer than a month and a half. It feels like it's been like longer. 6 weeks or 6 months.
You're just shortening the time.
It feels like it's been forever.
So So I have a sports thing that I'm sure you saw. Maybe we already talked about this.
You know, this podcast of sports that I was blatantly told don't bring up sports because Jasmine won't have anything to do with sports.
I
Yes, go
actually am
on.
learning a lot about them lately because of Connor, surprisingly, who's
Yeah.
also not sports.
But she has a friend who's a sports addict and, she didn't listen to it.
So
Anyways, go on. Your
for
thing.
the record, I don't like the stuff that I'm learning. It's just forced upon me.
Well,
Um,
I'll tell you this: if you become a a UNC, oh my goodness, a UNC fan, I
um,
will
I have respect for
drop
myself.
kick you.
Not
Yeah, yeah.
much, but I have a little.
I will full on drop kick. Just like come
Yeah.
running into the door,
Do you know?
take the
Do you
door
guys want to
down,
know what's
jump.
so funny? Is every time that there's a big tournament or anything, usually I'm like, "Hey, Justin, who are we voting for? Who are we rooting for here?" Because I
That's
don't
why
know.
she
Like
had
if
Duke for a lot of them because she
yeah,
asked me.
yeah, because the first one I did with him, where he was like,
She didn't
"Oh
have.
my
She had
god,"
Duke losing in the first round to a 16 seed,
I had Clemson winning.
which you would have gotten some points out of because Clemson did. Oh no, Clemson got upset. Never mind. You
Yeah,
would have been
so
very
early.
bad. So you're
Oh
welcome.
no, don't worry. I lost that one early on. I got tagged in that post where they were like, "Hey, BT Dubs, your bracket's out," and I was like, "All of the ones that I said were gonna win lost. All of them." All of them, Justin. Every fucking one of them.
Yep.
Anyway, the sports thing that I was going to tell you that I found out, and I think we've already talked about it, but I'm really excited about it because I knew a thing, is that, you ready for this sports knowledge? The,
You can do
the,
it.
there's a Florida baseball team. What is their team called?
There's a lot of Florida baseball teams.
The Rays?
So the Tampa Bay Rays, yep.
The Tampa Bay Rays sold to the guy who owns the hockey league in North Carolina, the Hurricanes.
Okay.
Hurricanes,
Yep.
and he bought them as a baseball team. So North Carolina is going to have a professional baseball team now. They're building a stadium. I looked it up. It's a real thing.
Hmm.
You do not know that? Did I know a sports thing?
I
I'm going to verify this real quick.
I was gonna say I would verify because the Rays are right now homeless. Like they might build a stadium for them temporarily, but I feel like Tampa Bay is like locked in on where they're gonna be. I might be wrong, but because the Tropicana Field collapsed over winter.
Yeah. If his friends lied to me and made me say this out loud on the podcast, I would be so mad.
I mean, you might not be wrong. I just don't know about it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's a problem because you would know about it.
There's no baseball team in the Carolinas, is there?
No, there's not, and that's why everybody's so excited.
Not even a minor league team? There's got to
Nope.
be a minor league in North
I don't
Carolina.
think there is.
Like Maine doesn't have an MLB team, but we've got the Sea Dogs, which is a minor of the Red Sox. Did you hear that we actually got a professional soccer team in Maine though?
Do we really?
Yeah, it's not MLS, but it's the step down from MLS. So it's semi-professional, but it's not really. It's the
Holy shit!
professional leagues.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're the. I think it's actually called like the Pine Tree soccer team or something like that. They're based in Lewiston, so like they play on Lewiston fields, like high school fields and everything. It's pretty cool.
Well, now I need to know. Hearts of Pine.
Hearts of Pine. There you go.
I think I did know about that. I'm pretty sure that Brittany does stuff with them
That's pretty cool.
because she does like coaching and managing and stuff like that. She's very good at soccer.
So if I get the women's or the girls' high school position, I should call her up and have her help me out.
No, because she's so busy that I need her to be doing other things for herself.
This will be for herself.
It will be for you.
No, she will help me, but it'll be for herself because soccer is therapy for some people.
She has so many suckers. She's good.
But she
She
likes
needs.
suckers.
Okay, so we have 44 minutes. Nope, we are at 44 minutes. What was the other thing that you had to bring up?
I don't really need to on this one. It's something that can be talked about later too.
Oh, what is it?
It's just about music. You have asshole things, so let's do asshole things.
Well, yes, you see, I went to the doctor. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yikes.
Although I will, so this is fine to share on the podcast. So I'm under a lot of stress pretty constantly, um, just generally as a person. I gave myself like psychosomatic hemorrhoids. I stressed myself out enough that I have just been, my thighs and calves have just been clenched for days. Like I'm just that stressed
Mm-hmm.
that I've just been clenching, but apparently also my ass. So I gave myself psychosomatic hemorrhoids for, I guess it's not psychosomatic, they're real, but
I was
yeah.
gonna say, like that's
Yeah,
good
not
luck with
good.
that.
Yeah, they're gone now. I figured it out. But I didn't drink water for 6 days and then was just clenching. So,
Jasmine,
hey, yeah, what's up?
drink water.
So am I the asshole? Do you want 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
4.
Okay. Am I the asshole for not wanting my husband to go to his ex's funeral?
Hmm.
Odd
Wait,
start.
don't read it yet.
Yeah.
Base just on that. What's your answer?
I think asshole.
Really?
Because, like, a funeral's you know what I mean? Like, well,
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how close they were. Like, if they were married, yeah, I would want him to go.
Right.
Like,
But
if Connor
based
was.
on just like, am I the asshole for not wanting my husband to go? I would say asshole.
I would say asshole. Yeah. All right. I'll admit, I'm biased right off the bat. I couldn't stand her. This is not boding well for
Not
me.
good for you.
I call her his ex to myself and others. He called her his friend.
Are they actual exes then?
We're all in our early 40s. You can't be doing this in your 40s. I have the
Stop.
She died recently. Aneurysm. I've been with him 10 years now, but he'd known her for 20 plus.
Yeah, I don't think we really need to know the
he,
rest. Yes, she's the asshole.
I would like to read the rest because I just read some of it. It's pretty short. So, the way he tells it, they were friends in college, decided to date, got married, realized they weren't a great couple, decided just be friends. All that happened years before I met him. He was clear early on that she was important. Kind of sounds like an important person. But
Yeah.
also kudos to them for like marrying and being like, nah, you know what? It's totally like we're better as friends.
Mm-hmm.
A couple months into dating, it came up that his friend was actually his ex-wife. He explained the above to me, saying she was one of his closest friends and that it was purely platonic. As soon as I start reading, are you kidding me? I expressed some discomfort at him being so close to an ex, and he told me, that's fine. If you have a serious issue with it, let me know now and save us some time. I'll choose her. I like you and all, but I've known her for over 12 years while they just
I
started
mean,
dating.
yeah, fair, but like, dang.
I see his point here.
Yeah.
But I've known her for 12 years, and she's one of the most important people in my life. You'll have to be okay with that if you want us to be a thing. If you want to
Setting
be my
boundaries.
lover, you gotta get with my friends. When we were engaged, I asked again. He gave me this perplexed look and asked, why would us getting married affect my friendships? I sucked it up and went along. I resented every moment of knowing her, especially when we had to be social. She understood some part of him I just couldn't. Her husband was friends with mine as well, so it's not like I could use him as an angle. He'd have lunch with the ex. They'd go to their
So
geeky
she'd be
movies and
willing to
whatever.
use the angle.
Yeah. This does not sound like a fun woman. I'm gonna be honest
No.
with you. He'd have lunch with the ex. They'd go to their geeky movies and whatever. The few times I brought it up, he said, we've had this conversation before. You had your chance to back out. True. She died after they had lunch the other day on the way to her car.
Oof.
He spent a bunch of time crying, but honestly, I was relieved. What the fuck am I reading? So I got this, candidly, I got this from Best of 2022 where they were like, what is the worst asshole you've seen?
Yeah.
So I, like, and it was just like, what's the best story on this Reddit for 2022? And this was one of them. It was a chorus of sirens. That was so bizarre. He was working with her husband on funeral planning. And I told him, "You don't think you're going, do you?" My argument summed up: she's dead, so she's not a factor anymore. He doesn't get to use his "she's my friend" excuse since she doesn't exist anymore. He had his cry for a couple of days. He gets to be done with mourning her already. There's no need for him to go to her funeral since I wouldn't want her at his. He was the angriest I've ever seen him when I told him that, replying that he'll be going no matter how I feel. Stop it.
You did it first.
And that he's willing to burn this to the fucking ground while holding up his wedding band. Besides you, she was the closest friend in my life. Him, her husband, and my sisters are calling me an insensitive asshole over this, saying there was no romantic aspect to their relationship and that I'm heartless. Her husband went so far as calling me a ghoul for how that's the farthest he was willing to go. For
I
how
would have
I've
said a lot
reacted.
more things.
I've never felt their relationship was appropriate, and I hid that for years.
You didn't, though.
But did you though?
You didn't, though.
And I hid that for years because I wanted to be with my husband. Now that she's gone, oh my god.
It's not even
I
my fault.
twitched
That's
my
on
eye.
you.
Yeah, I know. Now that she's gone, I'll never know.
Now
I
that
don't
she's
feel I should
gone.
have to hide it anymore. I can speak freely. Am I the asshole for just wanting him to be done with her and for wanting him to not attend the funeral?
Yes, that's a clear yes.
Yeah, so one of the mods had to respond and say, be civil, please review our FAQ if you're unsure what that means. And then an edit later on to say, never mind, I'm sick of banning all of you. Y'all can't handle this, and locked it.
I mean, tell me, like, there. You know what? There's no logic there. Like in her side of it, like, there's no
No,
logic other than a super
I
jealous
listen,
person.
I totally understand, like, feeling of inadequacy or jealousy or whatever, because, like, that's a natural human feeling,
Yeah, but to not
That's
let
taking it
them,
a step further.
yeah,
That's a
not let
weird
him
angle.
grieve, not let him go
Yeah.
to the funeral, not let him be around that part of his life. Wild to me.
Yeah.
Um.
All right, I have a really short one, and
Okay.
then we're done.
I was gonna say you keep yawning, so we could wrap it up, and that'd
No,
be
it's
fine.
fine. I'm good. Okay,
If you yawn once through this, we're wrapping it up.
I'm good.
Okay.
I, male 42. Oh, let me read you the title of this. Am I the asshole for bringing my vegan girlfriend to a steakhouse that had literally nothing for her to eat on the menu? Thoughts, Justin?
Just by that, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe think about your girlfriend a little bit.
Yeah, maybe think. I lost it. Where'd it go? Okay. I, male 42, have planned to
Are
have
you
dinner with a couple of
hurting?
my friends.
Yawn.
This happens when I do read aloud at school, too.
Mm-hmm.
I, male 42, have planned to have dinner with a couple of my friends who were in town and introduce my girlfriend, female 41. Y'all are in your 40s? I've told my girlfriend about dinner and suggested she picks the place since she is well versed in the city's restaurant scene and also is a vegan. She suggested a couple of non-vegan places where she could still find something on the menu so everyone can enjoy their time. How thoughtful of her.
Mm.
I called to make a reservation, but they were fully booked, and my friend made a reservation at a steakhouse. He was aware that she is vegan. You've got a shitty friend.
Yeah.
She was chill about it, but when we came there, literally not.
It's supposed to have a comma, but when we came, there literally was not.
Are you also reading it?
No.
Oh, okay. This is an odd flip. Not a single item on the menu. Even fries were cheesy. Me and my friend ordered our meats, and she just sat drinking juice the whole night. She didn't make a fuss, but mentioned after dinner she was incredibly hungry.
Hmm.
So, Justin, if you had a partner, well, you have a partner, but if you had a partner who had, something like, I don't know, stomach issues or celiac disease or like whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you took them to a place that was their mortal enemy, how do you think they would feel about that?
Probably a little hungry. That'd be my assumption.
Oddly enough,
Yeah.
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 Um, Overall, the night was great. Tons of fun and laughter.
Fun and
I would
laughter.
not be laughing. I would be sitting like this the whole night.
Yeah, for sure.
I would not be drinking my juice, I'll tell you that much. All of us had a great time. However, later she mentioned it was really inconsiderate of me to handle it poorly and that I clearly don't prioritize her. Because when she gave suggestions, she thought of everyone's dietary preferences. I probably should have looked at the menu before going along with the plan, but the real question, am I the asshole here?
Yep. Pretty clearly, actually.
There's an update. Update, since a lot of you have been asking about the sides, I've double checked the menu now. No, the salads were all meat, cheese, cream based. All of them? I find it hard to believe they couldn't just take the cream based sauce off and just put some olive oil on. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Or the fries don't make them cheesy. Like, you could
right.
just make
She asked
fries.
if anything could be modified, but the waiter said it's not a vegan facility. The only soup they had was beef soup. The reservation was made 1 hour before the dinner. I gotta be honest with you. You knew your friends were coming to town. You made the reservation an hour earlier than that
The
happened.
friend
This
made
is
the
shitty.
reservation.
Right. So, like, this guy. Yeah, okay. She was busy and as I remember, she was busy in a conference call. I guess that's why she didn't check it.
But you know that she's vegan, so you need to make reservations for a place that she can eat as well.
Yeah. Everybody's responding to the we all had a great time, and they're like, no, but you didn't though.
We
Your
all did
girlfriend was
not.
hungry.
All
I'm
right,
gonna
where can they
save the
find you?
last. Okay, well, hold on. I'm gonna save the last three for the next time we do one of these because they're actually really good.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a bookmark. They can find me over at Asminsta1721 on Instagram and TikTok. Oh my god! You can find me yawning on Twitch over at Asminsta1721. I will be streaming more because my husband is abandoning me to go on a work trip. We didn't talk about that once this time. And they can find the show over at No Impulse Control on all the socials except for Twitter because that's how I feel about things these days. You can also buy merch over at thesoccerking1239.com. Eventually it will be updated when I get my shit together. Who's to say when that will be?
There's a potential for phone cases to become a thing, so if you are
yeah.
looking for a new phone case and you want
Yep.
something to spice up your phone's
I was
look,
wondering if we could also add AirPod cases because I had a request.
potentially. I don't know
We
what
can look
what
into
the
that.
yeah, we'll look into it.
Yep, we'll look into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can find me at the Soccer King 1239 or TSK 1239 on any or most socials wherever. Just look me up. I'll potentially be there, and if you're following somebody, good job. If you're not, well, do better.
Not if you're following someone.
Either way, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Bye.